folks, welcome back. This week we figured we'd take a little time and talk about our camper. We spent 19 days in it with 9 people, and we know you might have questions about how'd that work, what's it look like in there. We are going to take you on a tour through the camper, but I think we could just start with, I would say that the trip, I was probably the leader behind that decision of taking the trip, but Mary Kate was really the leader on buying a camper. So how'd that all start?
I think that we initially looked at renting, and we went back and forth about renting a Class A, a Class C. At that point, we didn't have a car that had very big towing capability, so we weren't even looking at anything towable. We quickly found out a couple of things, that if we wanted to take as many people as we were taking, which was 9, that a Class C was out of our size range, so that meant a Class A. And when we priced out Class A's for rental, we were finding out a couple things. One, they charge a lot of extra for mileage, and we were talking about a trip that was a massive amount of mileage. 2, you don't have a separate vehicle to drive, so park it at the thing, but then you want to go to other places. You want to see the parks, you want to go to the grocery store, and you didn't have that. None of the rentals that we could find in our area anyway would allow us to tow a smaller car behind the Class A.
Right.
So then we were looking at the added cost of, we looked into like maybe we would rent cars in the areas we were going to, smaller cars just for errand running. But then of course we realized that meant that we couldn't take everyone to all the parks. And when we started adding up all the costs, at one point I said to you, this is going to be over $10,000. We may as well just buy some. And Kyle ran with that.
So, and I'll just, there were Class C's that tell you they can sleep 9 or 10, and they can. With anything, you're sacrificing. So we felt the Class C's were really small and it was going to be really crowded. Some of the Class A's, actually, although they're bigger, they don't have the same sleeping capacity. They may only sleep 7, and they're very expensive to buy, that's for sure. And definitely, if you were just going for a weekend trip, rental's probably a great way, but when you were going to be gone for 19, 20 days, it added up real fast to how much those rentals would have cost.
It was shocking. Yeah. And so I think then once we did that, it was a matter of narrowing our choices down, which in our case became pretty narrow pretty quickly. We needed a vehicle that could tow. We realized we needed a situation where we would be towing something so that we could use a vehicle to drive to all the different places. So we needed a vehicle that could carry 9 people, but have the towing capacity to tow a trailer that could also sleep 9 people.
Right.
And then, of course, you had to take price into consideration. So we knew in both cases, for both the vehicle and the RV, that we would be buying used, which I would advocate no matter what. Once we plugged those into our parameters, it became evident, and you had more of the specifications, that there was really only a few trailers that met that. You had to find ones that the weight limit could match what your vehicle, and really the only vehicles that could carry 9 people were 12 and 15 passenger vans, and there are no 12 passenger vans to our knowledge that have a towing capacity to tow trailers.
Maybe we'll do another episode. We'll talk about the van a little more because I'll walk you through that. But in essence, that was it. One of the things is we had 5 licensed drivers, and we wanted to make sure that when you're driving 1,800 miles in 3 days, being able to switch the drivers was pretty key to not wearing everybody out. So drive 2 hours, switch drivers, drive 2 hours, switch.
Right.
So we wanted to be able to use as many drivers as we could. So taking 2 cars means, you can spread out more, but you're now using more drivers to move those 2 cars. So I think the camper that we settled on, we have a Wildwood 30 KQBSS. So it's a 30-foot trailer.
A 2018.
It's a 2018, and then it's about from tail to tongue, it's about 34 feet long, and the van puts another 20 feet. So altogether, we're about 55 feet from the front of the van to the back of the trailer. So it's a large piece of equipment that we're managing.
And I would say 4 out of the 5 drivers were comfortable with driving that. And I think that's important to talk about too. If you have somebody that really isn't comfortable and you've given them a lot of time or opportunity to think about it and they still don't feel comfortable, do not press them into that position of trying to drive it.
Yeah, we did. We just said, you know, you can drive the van when it's unhitched if it's just a run to the Walmart groceries or something. But yeah, you have to be comfortable with it. And honestly, the drivers mostly just did the highway driving. Anytime we were exiting and going to a tighter grocery store parking lot,
or pulling into the
campsites, backing into the campsites, I did all that. In time, I think we'll spread that around so more people know how to back this thing in. But right now, for the first year that we've owned it, it's been pretty much my job.
Right.
So we bought the camper. So we bought this Wildwood. Again, it sleeps 9. We are going to go inside and show you guys around. How do 9 people sleep there?
Yeah, I would say it sleeps 5 reasonably.
Right.
Yeah. It sleeps 9 in a pinch.
Yeah, so, and we'll show you. So to sleep 9, you are converting living spaces like a couch into a bed, converting a dinette into a bed. And that's okay in a pinch, and it worked for this trip. But we did things on the trip. For example, a few times at campgrounds that had separate cabins, we would rent these little cabins so that there was room for people to spread out. And we'll talk about that. We're going to do a separate
We would
episode.
have done more of that had we known how tight the space would be and how it's a compromise when you have people sleeping in the living quarters. It makes it difficult for everybody because it's hard on the people sleeping there. It's hard on the people trying to get the day started or moving through to use the bathroom or get ready because your storage spaces are also involved. You use every inch of a camper.
Right.
For
it's
storage.
9 people and all their stuff.
Yeah.
So 9 people and their clothes and their toiletries.
And gauge body size because people, like dealers will love to tell you, oh no, this could sleep 9. Well, they're talking about two adults as the parents and the rest are small body kids. And what we had was, I think there was 2 child-sized bodies entirely on this trip and the rest were really adult-sized bodies. And that makes a huge difference when you're trying to wedge people into tight places.
So, so we settled on this camper, and again, the key considerations for our family were we needed to move 9 people, and we don't always move 9, but we wanted to be able to move 9 people and sleep as many as we could in the camper, and that's what drove our decision. So we wanted a vehicle that could move that many people, and then that set the towing capacity, which then determined the weight of the trailer that we could buy.
And there's only a few trailers that meet the weight capacity and sleeping capacity.
If you look at RVing, if you're thinking about getting into it, you'll see there's everything from little teardrop campers to campers like ours to pop-up campers to then the motorized, so the fifth wheel, more Tobos, the fifth wheels, the Airstreams, and then you've got the Class C drivable, you've got the Class B, the Class A. There's so much choice, but for us, it really narrowed it down, and it actually made the choice a little easier when you just said, what are we trying to accomplish? What's the plan? We're trying to move 9 people so we can go out and see the country. And then if we have less people, that's great. And I think you'll see when we go around, right now we only have 5 people, and it makes it much more livable when you only have 5.
And I think we've heard people say, which isn't bad advice either, decide what you're going to be using it for most of the time. Well, we kind of approached it the opposite way, which we were saying we want to do this big trip, and so we approached our purchase from that perspective. I don't think that we were wrong, because in the end this has still served us well, but I don't know that that's the way that everybody should approach it.
And I'd say, this is what fit our family's needs at this time. Your family needs will change. So, if your kids are little, you have certain needs. As your kids get older, that changes. As your kids move out, it changes again. So that's what's great. There is a lot of choice out there, and we just went with the choice that worked best for us.
For right now.
Some of the things, and again, we'll do a tour, we love, we have a separate bedroom for ourselves. Then there's a main living area with a, like a small living area, dining area, kitchen, and then a back bunkhouse. And we like that there, some separation. It's all in 300 square feet.
And an outdoor kitchen, which we found is key.
Outside, you'll see we use the outside kitchen a ton. This one also came with a grill attached to it, which we use all the time. And then storage space for things like our chairs, our camp chairs, our canopy that goes over the table, and all these extra things that make the campsite more livable.
I'm saying no to kids over there because I just didn't.
So this is the bunk room. Right now it's converted to day, so that little dinette table there is being used as an office for homeschool and work. And this bed is flipped up. So basically there's 3 bunks in here. During the day we kind of convert it all back to living space, and at night it can convert into bunks. And here you can see it with the upper bunk lower down for sleep, and that's how it would work at nighttime. And this is at the rear of the trailer. After the bunk room we have a bathroom, single bathroom for this trailer with a shower. It's tight, it's not real big, but it works for our needs. The front bedroom, it has its own door, so it is private space. Queen size bed. Little bit of a wardrobe on both sides for some hanging laundry. It's very tight, it's not a big space. There's a TV, but not a lot of space. But again, most of the time when you're camping, you want to be outside. You don't actually spend as much time in the camper as you would think.
My own web show, my own web show. Everybody wanna know my own web show, my own web show, my own web show. How will it go? My own web show, my own web show, my own web show. Everybody wanna know my own web show, my own web show, my own web show. Adventures and activities, healthy snack recipes, so much for you to see on the web show, my own web show, my own web show, my own web show. Everybody wanna know my own web show, coming through your internet, informational, you bet. Think of all that you will get on this web show, my own web show. My own web show, my own web show. Everybody wanna know my own web show, my own web show, my own web show. How will it go? My own web show, my own web show, my own web show. Everybody wanna know my own web show, my own web show.